So the first jersey that I ever owned was not a Philadelphia sports jersey. It was, by my recollection, actually a Larry Johnson Charlotte Hornets jersey, complete with the Hornets shorts. Now, I also owned a Darren Dalton starter jersey. It was like a knockoff replica. I don't even know what it was, some sort of Phillies jersey. There are photos of me somewhere wearing, for some reason, a Morton Anderson Saints jersey. I'd have to ask my parents about that one. I also recall buying a Glenn Big Dog Robinson jersey when he played for the Milwaukee Bucks. I had a Dana Barros jersey, a Dikembe Mutombo jersey, had a Steve Nash jersey. I still have that one of my favorite players of all time. But I've always been fascinated by jerseys and jersey culture and throwbacks. What's cool, what's not, what works, what doesn't, what's changed over the years. And my next guest knows all about that stuff because he finds the rarest of the rare jerseys and T-shirts, some of the craziest stuff you will ever see, and he's bringing some of that with him here into the studio. My name is Pat Gallen. This is a Gallen of Questions with my guest. His name is Casey Pitocchelli of Rare Vntg. Casey, thanks for joining me, my friend. Casey Pitocchelli from Rare Vntg. So you brought a ton of stuff with you. You've owned a ton of stuff.
Yes.
I've never seen a collection quite like the one you've got. But how did you take us into your youth, like your background? How did it happen that you decided to become a collector of all these jerseys and cool shirts?
I feel like there's one story my mom tells all the time. We used to have these little magnets on the fridge, and it was every NFL team. So at a young age, I think I was like 3 or 4 years old, I could name every team. Yeah. So like, this is Minnesota Vikings, this is Eagles. And one of my mom's friends' daughters came over, same age. And the first thing I said to her was like, do you like Dallas? So like from a young age, been a diehard Philly sports fan. My dad, huge jersey collector, always has been his entire life. He grew up in Philly, obviously worked at the Bellevue. During his lunch breaks, he would go to Mitchell & Ness, the original store.
Wow.
He became friendly with Peter Capolino, who owned Mitchell & Ness.
Sure.
He was in there one day, and Peter was looking at old Sports Illustrated magazine and said to my dad, he's like, if I remade these old jerseys, would you think people would buy them? He's like, well, you got at least one customer here. So my dad got hooked on jerseys. Seeing my dad wearing them growing up, every family party, he'd have a different jersey on. Him and his brother would have jerseys on. So bug-eyed, absolutely love jerseys. And then I brought a photo. This is my jersey collection at age
really
7.
Cool. Show that.
Dolphins.
Right, we got Marino. We got Marlins. Is that an Elway? My dad had an Elway too. It was an Elway jersey that he destroyed by painting around the house. So it's not worth anything anymore.
But Elway was like my favorite player growing up outside every Philly athlete.
Sure.
But I loved Elway. And then just kind of got hooked on the stuff.
But that's so rare that your dad, I guess late 80s, early 90s, was collecting jerseys. That really wasn't a thing then.
Well, no, and then his dad managed was it Wanamaker's old store in Ardmore.
Yeah.
And he somehow through his connections got my dad a Detroit Red Wings jersey.
Okay.
And it was hard, like you said, it was really hard to get jerseys back then. Like he would go up to, his family was from outside of Boston, so they'd come up there and they would find a Bruins jersey or something. But it was really, really hard to find the jersey and the real stuff too. So it's
funny though when you look back at old footage of 70s, 80s, early 90s games on TV, you didn't see anyone wearing a jersey, and that kind of flipped I guess maybe mid-late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah, I would say even I guess the first brand that pushed sports jersey you could buy was Sandknit, I want to say. So Sandknit stuff mid-80s, late 80s caught on, and then people were like, hey, I want to wear this stuff to the game.
You'll see Larry Bird against Magic Johnson, and the crowd is just wearing the clothes they went to work in.
Right.
Things change. But so you were kind of, I wouldn't say at the forefront of it, but you've built this huge thing now with Rare Vntg. How many pieces do you own? Do you have a total number? Do you know?
It's my personal collection. I'm my number one thing I collect are Sixers, Gamers, Pro Cuts, Authentics. I have almost 70-ish. Gamers, Pro Cuts, just for Sixers. Sixers too. That I'm not selling. Definitely dabble in more, obviously, other jerseys we'll get to later. But I honestly love basketball and hockey. Those are my favorite to collect and find too. So to sell them too.
Sure. So anything that your dad has passed down to you? I'm guessing he wore them, but were they in decent shape?
Yes. Oh, yeah. So I still have a couple pieces from his original collection, and he would get a lot of jerseys with his name on the back, just hockey jerseys, because we used to know Max's Hockey Shed in Havertown. He used to do all the custom jerseys. So we used to get, and I grew up playing hockey, so we would want to wear them at practice. Hey, here's my Carolina Hurricanes jersey with Pitocchelli on the back.
That's really cool.
So yeah, it kind of snowballed from there.
So when did you, because obviously you've been around it, your dad had his own collection that was growing over the years, and with this, it's not recent, but I guess like last 30 years or so, really an explosion of people wearing jerseys, but even further, like people collecting them and then reselling them. When did you decide, like, I could make this a business?
So I honestly, I say this in middle school. I started seeing stuff that was really fairly priced on eBay or around, and I was like, hey, I should buy this. You know, it's 25. I got like a Troy Gloss Authentic Angels for $25 back in the day. I wore it to 7th grade, and I was
never
like,
again could you get a price like that.
And then it started. Honestly, I sold that jersey when I was in college. So I want to say my senior year of college when I was at Duquesne. I was looking for extra spending money. You want to get some beer or something, on the weekends. Yeah. Started selling stuff with my roommate and I would start selling stuff on eBay, buying stuff on eBay. And it really snowballed from then. When I was living in Pittsburgh, and there were a lot of stores out there that still had old stock from the 90s. So we were picking up Phillies, Diamond Collection Russell jerseys for like $50-$60 at the time, which was a great deal.
Yeah.
And we were even the hats, like the hats were exploding. Mac Miller was wearing the snapbacks then, so we were finding the hats that were $150 on eBay for $10, brand new with the tags.
Sure.
And it was like, we were buying them to wear because it's like, this is a great Sharks hat, Flyers hat. You wanted to wear it. But at the end of my college career, I'm like, I can't find a job. I'm working odd jobs after I moved back home, and I'm like, you know what? I think I could really, put this in full gear and go all on in. And that's when I started around 2012. Just starting to find stuff out in the wild, starting to sell it on my website, on eBay, and here we are today.
That's why I brought you in, was obviously to talk about how you've, created this this business, but also the new Phillies jerseys. It kind of, struck a chord with me because as soon as I looked at it, I was like, this doesn't vibe with the city. I don't love it. I don't dislike it, but I don't love it.
Right.
And you're a professional. You've seen every jersey there is. So what were your initial thoughts when you first saw that?
I think I'm in the same boat. I don't want to hate it. I don't want to love it. I want to see it on the field because I want to see who, the different numbers, the different players, how it looks on the field. I think it's cool. And I think my expectations were not high I want to say not necessarily high, but I knew what to expect with the Nike City Connect line because I've seen all the teams, the Brewers, the Giants, the Dodgers, the Angels, what they put out. A lot of them have gotten mixed reviews from all the fan bases. So I was kind of like on par with that. I think I love how it has love on the sleeve. I think that's really cool. I think they may have reached to try to tell a story too much to kind of sell the jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love how it's connected to independence and the Declaration of Independence and stuff like that. So I think that's a cool aspect. The one thing, I have it in here, is when the Eagles wore the 1933.
Yeah, my dad has one of those. It has Gallen on the back.
Oh, God, does he really?
Yeah.
So they wore that Frankfurt Yellow Jackets jersey.
That's Sheldon Brown.
Yes, it's Sheldon Brown jersey. So this was, I think, 2007. They wore that jersey from the 1933 version.
So similar color scheme to that.
Yes, they were long
yellow.
Absolutely, they were long sleeve, more Doreen material, but they brought that back because of the city flag. But I'm thinking, how many Philadelphia sports fans know the Philadelphia flag is blue and yellow? I don't know. That's a good question.
Not that many. I don't think. And that's why, I found it interesting that they went in that direction. But I also think, we look back at, like, for instance, maybe the Pistons, like in the late 90s,
right?
Grant Hill, that teal color scheme. Everyone was like, what is this? This isn't Pistons basketball. Right. But then as the years go on, people look back at it more fondly, which is where you come in, and now they love it
now. Exactly, because I think that's the one thing I was even talking to a couple of friends. Like 10 years from now, this jersey could have a huge following because people missed out on it. Because a lot of times these jerseys aren't popular at the initial release. People forget about it. It goes on clearance. They throw it away. They donate it. Then they're I need to get that back. I need to get that back.
Yeah, sure. So 10 or 20 years down the road, it might change a little bit. How do you find some of like the more rare stuff that you're selling?
So a lot of the more rare pieces, I've gotten in contact with collectors. I'll go to like the National Sports Collector Convention, and they get a lot of game worn stuff, a lot of team issued stuff. So I'm always on the hunt for like the top tier jerseys to sell or for my own collection. Everyone's thrifting. It's impossible to find anything good at the thrift store now. So really? Maybe 10 years ago you get lucky.
Sure.
but it's just very difficult. I've networked with people. People will email me, hey, I have this collection, or my grandfather passed away. He's got this awesome collection of Pistons jerseys, Sixers, etc. So I'll get lucky that way. I'm looking and trying to network 24/7, trying to find the people in different cities that have the stuff. My favorite Sixers jersey of all time, it's the Shooting Stars jersey from
which is, it's like kind of mixed reviews. Oh wow, Brett.
Exactly.
Jeez.
Yeah, so this was from 91 to 94. They wore this at the time.
Yep.
People didn't like it at all.
Those are game worn.
These are both game worn. Yep, exactly.
Amazing.
I got this one in Atlantic City at the National Sports Collector Convention, and I got this actually from my buddy. He had a store in Maryland, like 10 years ago, I want to say.
So that's a game worn Sean Bradley.
Yep.
Look how big that thing
is. It's so long.
7'6".
Exactly.
The number 76. Very cool. I always love those too. And they, again, at the time, it was like they only wore them for one year?
Parts of 3 seasons. And the cool thing is Barkley was number 34, but he swithed to 32 to honor Magic. Exactly. So that's like my Grail. I didn't bring that one. That's my Grail jersey.
That's really cool.
Now, this is a really cool piece. So this is like 70s replica jersey. Bernie Perrant from the WHA, the Philadelphia Blazers. Something you really don't see at Old Pro Joy jersey.
That's amazing.
They were a short-lived league. They were competing with the NHL at the time. And obviously, Bernie played for the Flyers, went to the Blazers, and would eventually come back to the Flyers.
You got to be a real diehard to have one of these, man. And you are. That's why you're
here. Favorite Phillies jersey of all time is definitely just the classic, the powder blue. The classic powder blue jersey. So this is a game-worn Marvin Freeman. Yep, exactly. Marvin Freeman.
Someone just posted on Twitter like it was like 1988 when he was on the Phillies, and it was like a Harry Kalas doing the lineup card, and he was the starting pitcher that day, and the lineup was so bad in the 88 Phillies. Schmidt was off, and it was terrible. But that's a really cool, jersey.
You can't go wrong. I love how they wear the powder blues. I actually got this from my dad.
Wow.
So this is an incredible piece of history. This is, I believe, a 1965 game-worn Dave Graham Philadelphia Eagles jersey, and this is just incredible. I mean, you feel the material on this, the Doreen material.
Yeah, wow.
Can you imagine playing a game in that thing nowadays?
If it was like 85 degrees outside and you had to play in this thing?
Oh, it's insane. I mean, exactly. You're playing in September football. I mean, you're going to be sweating.
It's like a painting smog.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So this is a really, really cool piece of history, and I had to show it. And I actually got it from my dad. His high school number was 78. My buddy, Mr. Throwback in New York, posted. I was like, Mike, I need that jersey. Very sentimental. I'll give you whatever you need for it. So we were able to work a deal. Favorite Flyers jersey of all time is a little more modern. It's the
Winter Classic.
The 2012 Winter Classic, just because how they had the C in the state of Pennsylvania on the front.
That is really cool.
Just a really, really cool piece. And the felt numbers on it. This is actually my dad's as well.
That's awesome.
Very.
The numbers are felt?
Yeah, so they're felt material.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
That is really neat. I love that.
The crest is felt. It's
Keystone
awesome.
State, and obviously, the old hockey sweater with
the tie up. I mean, it's so iconic. I wish they would bring that back as like an alternate full time because it's
really cool,
so cool.
What else you got? One more, two more?
I think that's all for Philly right now. If you want to get to the
let's grab one or two from the global collection.
The global collection. Some of my favorite jerseys that are non-Philly related.
Mariners
you can't go wrong. No, 94, Ken Griffey Jr., the Aqua. I mean, who didn't love Ken Griffey Jr. growing up?
I don't think I realized that it's like shiny.
Yeah, the twill on that, it's like a metallic glacier twill, I think it's called. So it's a beautiful piece. I mean,
everyone wanted a Ken Griffey Jr. jersey back in the day. That's beautiful.
I think this might be my favorite jersey of all time, just because of the nostalgia factor. The 96 Anaheim Ducks, the Wild Wing jersey. They wore this, I believe, it was one season.
Yep.
I remember at JCPenney, I was like 7 years old, and they had it on sale.
Really?
It was too big. My dad was going to get it for himself or me, and I think it was like a 3X or 2X. And I was like, all right, that's not going to work on a 6-year-old. But I was able to finally track one of these down.
And so is it stitched?
So, that's a retail replica jersey, but it's got the sewn-on details. Very, very cool piece.
Really cool. All right, and you got
local legend. I mean, after the championship on Sunday,
there can't be many of those around, right?
I was in the ThriftCon Charlotte about 2 or 3 months ago, and I wore this down there. I had everyone was trying to buy this jersey from me. I was like,
What's the highest price someone offered you?
$1,500.
And you said no.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't. I had actually, one of my friends, Natalie, she played women's basketball in the area, and I found a replica jersey. I just gave it to her, and the Philadelphia Rage Dawn Staley too, because she loves Dawn Staley. And
Rage.
oh my god,
yeah,
I'm kind of like, that didn't fit, so I'm like, it's okay to let that one go.
Sure.
But like,
that's cool.
And then, I mean, who could hate this
beautiful.
one? This is a game worn. Was it
Chris Stewart?
Chris Stewart, I think, or I wrote it down.
You don't even know. It's so unique. That's really cool, though. I mean, those jerseys.
Michael Stewart, excuse me, Michael Stewart, game worn Nike, the big Dino.
That's really
Raptors
cool.
jersey.
You got some great stuff here, man.
Super iconic.
Yeah, really iconic. So business must be pretty good then. That you got all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
People want a piece of history.
Exactly. I think that's, people are so tired. I mean, for me, it's what I wanted as a kid, or where I grew up watching on TV. You know, I love watching the Raptors play. I wasn't necessarily a fan, but when they came in the league, I mean, you're
Purple
7 years
and,
exactly.
yeah,
like,
with
how
the
could
red.
how could you hate that?
Yeah, so different, so unique. All right, so you answered some of my questions, but at the end of every show we do, it's called a Gallen of Questions.
Okay.
We jump into the can, we see what we've got. So these are mostly Jersey-related questions. So hop in there and we'll see what we can come up with here.
All right, let's see. Starter jackets, cool or not? Starter jackets will be cool forever.
I agree with that.
No, they will never not be cool.
I've seen, so they're starting to like come out with them again. Does it have the same feel though right now as they did back in the 90s?
They're not. I don't think they can ever match the quality that they did during the 80s and 90s. But they're getting better, because I think they took over, I want to say, almost 10 years ago, and they put out like the first retro line.
Yeah.
And they're getting a lot better. They're starting to pay attention to the older details that were on the original jackets.
Yeah.
But I mean, now you go to any Eagles game now, and everyone's wearing a starter jacket.
No doubt.
Apex One. I mean,
Apex One, Chalk Line.
Chalk Line's back too, and they're making some awesome stuff.
Best Philly sports memory.
Best Philly sports memory. Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess 08 World Series was on my 19th birthday.
Wow.
I was living in Pittsburgh at the time, and a freshman in college. We won the World Series on my birthday. And there was a lot of Philly people in Pittsburgh at the time. So actually, I was at Duquesne, but up at Pitt, they shut down Fifth Ave. There was enough Philly fans up there.
Did you come back for the...
I did not come back for the parade, because I had an exam or something. That's
come on.
definitely one of my biggest regrets, unfortunately.
You're selling retro gear. Who needs a final in college? All right, what's your white whale? The one piece that you need.
The one piece
find.
that I'm after. Oh, that's actually a very, very good question. I might have to think about this for a second. I'm a big Atlanta Thrashers fan.
Okay.
Ilya Kovalchuk, I wore number 17 because of him. It would be really cool to find game-worn jersey from him. I actually don't have the maroon jersey they wore, so that's one.
Okay.
Yesterday, I just got his 04 All-Star jersey.
Is that right?
That was probably number one on my hit list till yesterday, and that arrived in the mail.
You just got it.
So I had to pull the trigger on that. It was a little pricey, but had to own that one.
All right, cool. All right, start, bench, cut. You got your Eagles Kelly Green, your Iverson era black jersey, or your Phillies Saturday night special, the maroon jersey. Start one, bench one, cut one. Who are you starting?
I'm going to start the Iverson, the black jersey, just because the 01 finals and that era. I mean, who didn't love watching Allen Iverson?
You're wearing
I'm wearing the Larry Hughes
the
gamer
Larry
right
Hughes.
now.
Yep.
Definitely that. I would go bench the Kelly Green, and I'll cut the Phillies Saturday night.
Weren't a fan of the maroons?
I love it, but I think the Kelly Green is it's so good.
iconic.
It's so good.
Those maroons were awesome when they brought them back a couple of years ago.
The photo of Andrew McCutchen wearing it, that's actually that McCutchen maroon jersey. I would probably go after that one, honestly, if I could find it.
All right, if you could change the primary color of one Philly sports team uniform, which would it be?
That's a good question.
So you're changing a Flyers, Eagles, a Sixers, a Phillies, and you're just changing the uniform color, because the Phillies kind of went down that road with these blue jerseys.
You can't touch the Kelly Green.
Agree.
I would say maybe do something a little crazy with the Sixers, just because they had the red, white, and blue. You had the black and gold era. Maybe throw something crazy in there. I'm trying to think of what would connect. Maybe
maybe a gold or something.
Gold would be really cool.
Or a bronze, like the statue or the Liberty Bell.
Yeah, gold and cream maybe, or something like that. That would be kind of.
I've always wondered if the Flyers should change and do something like outrageous for at least one night, like a purple jersey or something.
Because I feel like they're one of the few teams that is black and orange. Them and the Orioles, I want to say.
Pretty much. What is a Grail piece? Explain it.
So a Grail piece, to me, is just something you really couldn't buy at retail. So something like this, game worn Larry Hughes jersey, you couldn't find it at retail. A lot of players too, like they didn't make, you couldn't go get a Samuel Dallenberg jersey, authentic jersey at the store in most cases.
Right.
So it's just something you just don't see every day. A lot of people in Canada and around here that love hockey jerseys, I'm looking for that Donald Brashear. I'm looking for the fighter. I'm looking for the Animal Phantoms jersey. Yeah. So like something you don't see every day.
I love that. Favorite non-Philly jersey of all time, which is if you had to pick the one?
I think it would probably be that Mighty Ducks jersey, just because it was a cartoon on Disney back in the day. It's so loud, so vibrant.
Playing sports growing up, what was your number?
Number 17, and I switched to 27 in hockey because the 17 jersey was too small to fit over my pads.
Last one. What's the weirdest piece of clothing that you own or are selling?
Oh, man, the weirdest piece of... I actually my friend just gifted me John LeClair's rolling pin from his house. So it's from John LeClair's kitchen. He had
Not
an
a piece
estate
of clothing,
sale.
but cool nonetheless.
Yeah, it's so freaking obscure that it says John LeClair on it. So I'm going to use it to make some pizza dough or something.
That's really random. How about a piece of clothing? Anything stand out like that you're selling on the site?
I just picked up a game worn 60s Sixers warm up jersey. Mitchell and Ness remade it recently. I haven't posted. There's a little paint stain I want to get out of it before I showcase it.
Sure.
But something like that. I think that's one of the oldest pieces of memorabilia in my collection, and just so cool with like the chain stitching on the front. I mean, just the quality from an old Wilson garment to now, it's mind blowing how much time they put in. It was all handmade.
Yeah, for sure. Casey, this was a lot of fun. Thanks for bringing your collection,
this is awesome.
man. And good luck with Rare Vintage, my friend.
Thank you, Pat. I appreciate it. Go Sixers.